welcome to your most authoritative youth analysis program, Youth Empowerment Television Show, here on Pan-African Television. My name is Mametra, and as you and I are fully aware of drug abuse being on its peak or on its highest level across the world, Ghana is not an exception. And so this afternoon, my team has put together two powerful people to come and speak to us about responsible intake, so that I believe that after this show you would have good impact on your health. So today we are talking about responsible use of medicines towards transforming health. And I have Kwame Ajina Boateng. He's the president of the Pharmaceutical Students Federation Ghana, and Miss Ekia Mra Intim. She is the immediate past editor-in-chief for the Pharmaceutical Students Federation Ghana. Join the conversation by sharing your thoughts or views with us on our WhatsApp number 053-132-0444. We are streaming live also on Facebook across the globe, and so if you've joined us through Facebook, feel free to share with us your thoughts and opinions on this topic through our comment section, and click the like button on the page. Share the link so that other people will be part of the conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing?
I'm blessed. How about you?
I'm doing great. It's a rainy day. It's a rainy Tuesday.
A beautiful weather.
Yeah, very cool. Cozy weather. I should be sleeping by now, but you know, for your sake, I'm here.
Yeah,
I love you guys so much here. Yeah. So we are talking about responsible use of medication, but I want us to take it from this view, because a lot of young people abuse drugs in this country, especially during weekends. When it's on Friday through to Sunday, you'd see a lot of young boys and girls abusing a lot of drugs across the country. And I saw a documentary about some young people being high on glue, and I was really saddened. But I want us to break it down and then understand what we mean by drug, because whenever we think about drug abuse, the only thing we think about is heroin, cannabis, and all those hard narcotics. I want us to break it down. When we say drug, what does it mean? Should I start with the lady, or ladies first? But me, I'm a rebel. Okay. I'm a rebel, so I don't take advice. I'll start with the gentleman. Now call me. When we say a drug, what does drug mean?
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah.
And then we send greetings and then regards to our viewers.
Yeah.
And thank you all that you are making time to join us. And we promise today is going to be a very great day, and that we are going to learn a lot on our medications and then with our drugs. Yeah. So there are drugs and then there are medicines.
Okay.
Whenever things are not going on well with our health, there will be a need that we need to set them back in track. So when there is an ailment, there will be a need that you take in a medicine when it requires, so that you get relief of your ailments, and then you become fine. So there will be a drug where we use in prevention. There will be that which is being used in treatment. There will also be that we use in curing. But beyond that, there is going to be where there is a difference between a drug and there being a poison, will depend on the dose that you have been given. So you are being given an amount to be taken, so that when it gets into the body, whatever thing that is wrong in the body will be resolved. It comes in where there is going to be a drug abuse, where just as you made mention of, it wouldn't only be about you taking a hard drug, but as you being prescribed of a drug to be taking a particular regimen, maybe let's say for paracetamol, take paracetamol 8 hourly in a day, and then you go beyond the 8 hourly in a day, taking 1 gram 8 hourly in a day. You rather do a 2 gram 8 hourly in a day, or you do more than that. That actually becomes also an abuse, where you have not been prescribed a medication, but you turn out to do more or less like a self-medication. You get those drugs by your own self and then take, because you feel those are the drugs that you have to have done. That also could also be considered as an abuse.
Wow. Do you know, when you just spoke about the 8 hourly, it just clicked in my mind that whenever they write on medication, like maybe give it to somebody 12-hour intervals, we don't really pay attention to the 12-hour interval. We just take it. For example, if you are supposed to take it twice in a day, you just take it in the morning, and then when it's around 3 or 4, you are like, oh, it's in the evening, then you take it. We don't really pay attention to the time that has been given to us, prescribed for us. Is that wrong? Can that be described as some sort of abuse?
Yes. And first, I would say thank you very much for the opportunity, and I would also like to extend our warmest greetings to our cherished viewers.
Okay.
Yes, and so first, I'd like to take it from the portion where you asked what a drug is.
Yeah.
And so I'll just say that a drug is any substance which, when taken, actually alters the physiological nature of our body. And so a drug can actually be taken to cure or to prevent or mitigate a disease. Now, I would actually say that when you talk about drug abuse, it can be when you take a drug, the excessive intake of a drug, be illegal or illegal drugs. And so at a point where you are to adhere to, say, at this point you are supposed to take paracetamol at this time, and then you misuse or overuse it, you are actually causing harm to your kidney. And so it is actually overdose, and so you can also say that you are misusing the drug.
I see.
Yeah.
The way my heart is pounding, because
because many a time you would realize that this drug A has been prescribed to a patient, and then just say for the first or the second time, once the patient takes the drug and the patient is okay, the patient will just, or the clients will just like to put it aside. When the headache returns, the person would go back to it. But then that is actually not the right thing to be done. Yes.
Okay, so I also like to touch on what you made mention with regards to the timing. So most likely we recommend going by the timing, in the sense that when the drug gets into the body, we'll have to go through a process. We'll have to take through, it goes in, it absorbs, there has to be metabolism that will have to go on in the body. And then as it gets in there, since it's not something that is with you, it definitely will have to come out. So you have to take a time before it comes out. So the timing that you are being given with regards to the drug actually have its back on how the drug gets into the body and then it works. So for instance, if you are being given that, you have to take it 12 early. At the peak where it reach, where it will have to deliver its role as a drug for its reactions to done to be able to cure you. After that 12 hours, in some aspects, becomes more or less like the concentration gets reduced. You'll have to take in another to make the concentration reach the therapeutic range, so that it will still be in the system to be able to cure you of what it had to do. So there is a need for you to pay much particular attention to the timing. If it is 12 early, you focus on the 12 early, not to do it below. It could cause a harm. If you do it more, there is more chance of there being resistance when it comes to antibiotic. So if you are to go, let's say for malaria, for instance, an anti-malaria, you are taking an anti-malaria for the first dose, between the first dose and the second dose, will have to be an 8 early. But most of the times, people do not really pay much particular attention to it. They will take it in the morning, let's say for instance 7 o'clock, and then they remember taking it in the evening around 7 p.m., which is something that is not recommended. It prones the drugs to it's being they're building resistance, where the microorganisms that are causing the malaria, it gives them that length of time to be able to come up with some mechanisms to fight that. It wouldn't happen at once. It's a build on, and it gets to a point where you are taking these medications and then it's not responding. So the timing are so much particular, so that if you are taking it, if you are to take it within 8 early and you are going too early, the concentration gets higher. It hits beyond the therapeutic range, and now it gets into toxicity, and then it can harm you. So I think that's one of the reasons why we are here, to also talk to the people about responsible use of drugs. So if the medication, you are to take the medicine 8 hourly interval, stick to that, respect that, because your health is so much important, not for it to cause you any harm.
I feel so guilty, because I'm thinking, my mind is already roaming in my room, and I'm looking at all the medications that I have that I was told to use maybe in the morning, and for some reason I don't wake up in the morning, and I wake up mid-morning or close to afternoon, and then I take it in the afternoon, then I take the other one in the evening. So my mind is in a lot of, I feel very guilty.
That's why we are here. So.
I feel very guilty. Wow. So if that's the case, then can we abuse any and every drug? Is it possible to abuse any and every drug, or there are certain specific drugs that you can abuse?
Okay, I would say that not all drugs can be abused, but a wide array of drugs can be abused. And so, for instance, the illegal drugs, but then most times when you talk about drug abuse, it's just solely on the non-medical excessive use of these drugs. And so I think that not all drugs can be abused, but then a wide array of drugs can be abused.
Okay. Nana, do you agree with her?
I think, I agree with her. But I also want to add up. Most likely, where it becomes more or less like we turn out to push things to where our interests are, and then what majority of the people are talking about, or majority of the people are doing. So that is why maybe when you hear about drug abuse, the focus gets on the heroin, the marijuana, and then the other lights, or the
very much so.
other hard drugs. But then also I would say that if you have a medication where you're actually supposed to take it in, let's say for instance an antibiotic, most likely people will refer Plan B as Shiko, right? And then you are not using it the right way that you're supposed to have it done. There are people that will go and then they will grind it into a powder. It's supposed to be a tablet to be taken in, but they grind it into a powder and then they pour it on their wounds or their sore. They call it Shiko because they feel it is actually going to be. So in this case, it is. I would take it as an abuse because that is not the right intention that you have to.
Really, but it kills the sore.
So
our grandmothers have used it. And our mothers used it, and we've used it. Hopefully, thankfully, we are not going to continue using it though. But it works on the drug. It works on the sore.
So there are dosage forms that we come up with as pharmacists. So that wherever that there is an effect, if there is a local action that we want, we come up with a dosage form that will be able to be there to have the local effects done. So you having the Chico being grinded, putting it on the sore. We have other anti-effective that you can apply on the sore to be able to kill whatever infection that is there in the sore, but not necessarily going for the drug that is meant for you to take in orally, but rather pouring it there. There is going to be a result. That's as you are saying. But there are majority where there are more harms being caused, or there are people who come to the hospital. Before they get to the hospital, they have this sore being worsening because they heard or a friend told them that they can go by this means to have it done. It gets worse and they come, and then it becomes more or less like something that becomes difficult for you to bring it back to life. You have to do the amputation. But if the person had actually come to the hospital where the right means had been used, it wouldn't have gotten worse. And this also lead to more prone of infection because if it gets there where there is a dosage form to be able to have that work done, you do other means, it gets there and then it is not able to fight some bacteria or some microorganisms that are there. They build the resistance. You take it orally and then it doesn't work. The response that you are expecting to have.
I see, but most of the drugs that are abused, for example, tramadol, these drugs are some things that when I come to you as a pharmacist, or you say you are a student pharmacist, so so if I go to a pharmacist without a prescription, they will never sell it to me over the counter. But we see that our young guys, our young ladies abuse these drugs. What is the problem? Is it that our laws are not enough, or is it the enforceability? What is the problem? How are they even having access to these medications that are supposed to be prescribed?
Okay, There are actually controlled drug substances and drugs you can get from the hospital and over the counter. And so, for instance, paracetamol, you can get it over the counter. And then for drugs like tramadol, you need to come in with a prescription. It's a prescription drug. And I think that the FDA is actually doing a wonderful job in enforcing the laws and in the regulation. They're actually putting in stringent measures. However, I think that these drugs actually find their way. They come through the system differently, but then the FDA is actually doing a marvelous work, and I think they can actually do some work.
Okay, if they're doing their job, because I'm trying to find how they are having access to these drugs, because are they not supposed to be imported inside the country for the sake of medical reasons, for the sake of the hospitals? So how do these non-health workers get these medications?
So I would want to touch on that. That was a good submission in regards to that. Then also, let's start from here. Why would people want to abuse drugs? Why? There is something that they are facing that they need a remedy to. They think there's a way or a shortcut for them to getting themselves relief of whatever problem that they are going through. So there are some reasons where people would want to abuse drugs or get themselves on the heroin and the marijuana and then the likes. Some of them would be the person is depressed. So if the person is depressed, the person feels taking in these drugs, it gives you that excitement. It ignites you and then you feel happy. More or less like your worries are being taken away and then you feel okay. So they would want to have these drugs so that they will feel okay when they are being depressed. The others that also have the few, there is a low self-esteem. There are others too, they have relationship problems, there is poverty, there is social media influence where they see people doing it. They are curious. They also want to get themselves into it. So looking at all these things actually becomes a work with the mind. And then there is more, the urge for the person to get something, to be relieved of a stress that the person is going through. It actually feels uncomfortable when you get yourself in there and you're not getting a dose in that day. Let's say this morning you have to take it and you're not getting it. It actually doesn't feel
very good. Okay.
So they want to find their own ways of going around and getting some of these things to have it done. And people would also want to leverage on that to be able to get whatever they want from it. Some might feel it's actually being lucrative for them to get money.
A business opportunity.
So they also go around, fish their own ways in getting these medications and then they'll bring it into the system. But just as she mentioned, it is something that is being worked on. There are so much streets about it. What we have to do more has to do with the education, to educate the people about it so that they don't get themselves into it, because it becomes a kind of difficult something to be able to get yourself out of it. And they will go all out in finding their own ways, bringing all of these things into the system to be used so that they feel okay and then they feel good.
I see. Now let's talk about your campaign. You are doing a drugs campaign 2023, talking about responsible intake of medicines that will hopefully help to health transformation. Let's talk about that. When you say responsible intake of medicine, what do you mean?
Okay. When you talk about the responsible intake of medicine, it's actually, I would say that it's actually a patient-centered approach. And so in this, it entails taking your medication as prescribed by your health practitioner. In this situation, your pharmacist. And then you can also talk about the fact that it also entails drug adherence. And also taking the drug at the right time, your medication at the right time. And you can also move it to monitoring your side and adverse effects, because as pharmacists we actually play a very pivotal role in educating our clients or our patients. And so we educate our patients on the rational use of their medications, and we also educate them on the potential side effects they might see as a result of taking drug A or drug B. And so when you talk about the responsible use of medications, actually encompasses a lot. adherence to your dosages. You can also talk about the fact that you take your drug as prescribed by your health practitioner, and as well as monitoring your side and potential interactions and side effects. Yes,
I see. You know, one thing, I'm a mother, one thing that bothers me a lot is the fact that you take your child to the hospital and then his pediatrician gives you a dosage. For example, there's this medication that they would let you take in 5 ml. When you go to, that's what he's prescribed. When you go to buy it at the pharmacy shop or the pharmacist says, oh, how old is your child again? Oh, he's this age, or he's this old. No, this dosage is too much, so take 2.5 ml. Now, as a mother or as a parent, which one should I take? Whose advice should I take? Because I'm trying to adhere to good dosage, exactly. So whose advice should I take? Should I take the pediatrician, who is a doctor, or a pharmacist? Whose advice should I take?
Okay, I would say that as pharmacists, we are everything drug. We are in charge of everything drug. Okay, and that is why we actually go to school. We study in school for 6 years, and we talk about drugs and their interactions and their indications. I mean, doctors also do same. However, I believe that as pharmacists, we actually ensure the appropriateness of the prescription. Okay, we actually do dispensing, but then we also cross-check if the prescription that has been written by the doctor is right and appropriate. And so as a pharmacist, if I am say, okay, there are actually some drugs that, or some medications that are suited for children at this specific age limit, and so as a pharmacist, I would collaborate with these other health professionals to ensure that the right dosage is given to a child. Yes, and so this is actually what pharmacists do. So I would just say that as pharmacists, we ensure that the right prescription, the right dosage, and we also do some monitoring here and there. Yes.
So in this case, I should take the advice of the pharmacist.
Of the pharmacist. Okay. Of the pharmacist.
Okay, and next time I'll do that. Next time I'll do that.
Then also the other lookout will be, it is a collaborative work that we are having done. The end goal will be that the patient is going to be well. There are other lookouts when it comes to there being prescription. But even if, in as much as, let's say for instance, there is medication that someone is being prescribed, just as you made mention of, and then the dose is way higher. So in the hospital system, there's a pharmacist there, and then the pharmacist will have to dispense before you go out. If it's not available, the pharmacist will have to write on the prescription part, or the doctor will write on the prescription part, and then it will be given to be taken outside. So there is a work to be done there. So just as she made mention of, that prescription will have to be reviewed and then made understand that this dosage is actually way below, or this dosage is way higher. I made mention of therapeutic ranges and other things. So this is too high. It is going to be more, it will do more harm than it's doing good. So there is a need for us to reduce it and bring it to this level. So that is actually going to be done at the hospital. If it is not being done, or it is being done, but yes, it's being taken outside, and then you are going to purchase, and then the pharmacist there sees it to be outrageous. I made mention of that it's a collaborative work. So the prescription, a right form of prescription, should have the doctor's inscription and the contact of the doctor. So the prescriber contact will have to be there. So in our case, we wouldn't just go straight telling you that this is not supposed to be taken.
Oh, they've told me.
We'll reach out to them.
They've told me. And I was so confused.
I actually have to call the doctor.
I was so confused. I was so confused. I go home and I was holding the medication. I was looking at
what to do.
Because his doctor says I should give him 5 ml. The pharmacist says he's too young and I should give him 2.5 ml.
So we'll preach more that there will have to be right form of prescriptions that are being taken out there. So where there is something that is being seen that is so outrageous, there is something in there that we are seeing it's not so much going to be helpful, reach out to the doctor, explain to the doctor. Mind you, it is a work that we are doing. There are other patients that are going to come, there are other clients that are going to come. If it is not being done collaboratively at that angle, it is going to be repeated. Maybe you might not come to your pharmacy, you'll go to a different pharmacy, and then it might be served. Or even if it's not a pharmacy, the person might go to any other place where the person can get a drug and then will be served. So it becomes more or less like a collaborative. You are being reached out. Oh, I saw this. Per the guidelines, per references, per documents, per practice, this is what's supposed to be done. But what influence your choice of going this far? So if it is something that the doctor actually didn't take a look out for, it's being corrected and then it's being done. But where it becomes more that it becomes so expedient that, let's say for instance, you come to the pharmacy and then you came and then I asked you that what were the medications that you were given? And then you made mention that you went to the hospital, there is an anti-malaria drug that you are to be given. But I checked your medication, there's not an anti-malaria drug. There's a different drug that is there. But that is what you've been given as an anti-malaria. As a pharmacist, I can put a hold to that one. But it's going to do more harm to you. It's going to do more good, me putting a hold on that. And then do a follow-up and then I'll call. So there wouldn't be that straightforward doing a change in whatever thing that comes out there. Collaboratively, we do consultations and then we settle for the best for you.
Okay, since you are the president, let's talk about Pharmaceutical Students Federation Ghana. Tell me about the association, because like I told you off air, this is my first time hearing about it. So tell me about the association, then we can come back to the campaign.
Okay. So the Pharmaceutical Students Federation Ghana, with our acronym PSFGH, a P, F, and G, and then H is a small letter.
Okay.
So that is the mother union for all the pharmacy schools. There are student union in the various pharmacy schools. So all the pharmacy schools that we do have in Ghana, in various universities, will come together to form a national front. And that's the mother union that we refer as the Pharmaceutical Students Federation of Ghana. So there are 7 pharmacy schools that we do have now. We have a pharmacy school at Central University, there is KNUST, there is Legon University of Ghana, there is Entrance University, there is University for Development Studies, that's UDS. We have UCC, University of Cape Coast, and then we have KNUST as well. KNUST is actually the pioneer to all the
pace setter.
The pace setter to all the pharmacy.
Did you attend KNUST? No, the way you are smiling.
I'm a technocrat.
Okay. And you are the president as well. So okay.
So the federation has actually been, it has been there, but officially was being inaugurated on 2014 at KNUST. The College of Science Auditorium, that was where it was being done. And then it was being done with some officials from the Pharmaceutical Society of Ghana. I hope you've heard of them.
Yes, that I've heard of.
That is the body for pharmacists. So we are with them. We are the front for the students and they are the front for the pharmacists. So they had it inaugurated in 2014. So from 2014 till now, it will be 9 years. But the federation has actually been up doing a lot of things. The drug safety campaign is one of the very initiatives that we've taken upon ourselves. We believe that we are students today, tomorrow we are going to be pharmacists. So therefore, we being custodians of medicines or drugs, it will be expedient that at every time we help educate the community that we are serving, the people we are serving, about how they have to go about their drugs in the safest way. So over years, even before the inception of the federation, drug safety campaign has been something on the heart of all pharmacy students. We have it done locally and then nationally. We all come together as a unified body, 7 schools, and then we head it up harder. There are some numerous other campaigns that we've been doing on health. We do breast cancer, we do malaria, which she spearheaded a malaria debate where we had to focus on how we can all collaboratively come together in helping taking the menace on malaria. We had a conference in March. That was the Made in Ghana Pharmaceutical Students Conference. That was also geared towards making the students get to understand what pharmacy really stands for and what we are and what we should be and how we want the future to be for us as pharmacists. So we've been in the space working around, doing a lot of meaningful, impactful and then meaningful projects across the country. So the drug safety campaign has been done. We go year on, from one region to the other, So we've actually been to all the regions in the country since the inception.
16 regions.
That was 10 then.
Okay.
So right now we have the 16, which didn't come not too long ago. So with the 10, we've been to all the 10. The 16, we are still on it. We'll get to everywhere. And then we'll keep on reminding them on responsible use of medicines, because it is something that we need to pay much particular attention to, so that it doesn't cause us a lot of harm. I will also have good relations with all the other student front.
Okay.
We have good relations with NUCS, that's the National Union of Ghana Students.
Okay. But since you mentioned that you continue to campaign or educate people on responsible intake of medication, let me ask the same question that I asked Akia. When we say you are taking medication responsibly, what does it mean? Does it mean that if I take my medication with Fanta, I'm being irresponsible? If I take it with fruit juice, because I do that, I do that, am I being irresponsible?
So so just as she made mention of, it spans a lot. It takes a lot of dimensions when it comes to you being responsible. There are an aspect that will have to be dealt by we as pharmacists. There's also an aspect where the patient will have to also come in and then have it done. There are an aspect where there have to be policy makers coming in. So all that we are ensuring is that she made mention of, you are taking the appropriate drug for the right intention at the right time.
Okay.
And then there are also, it comes in with a cost of drug also coming when we talk about responsible use of medicine, because people, if you prescribe and then people are not able to afford, the end goal has not been achieved. So the responsible use of drug span from how you are taking the drug in respect to the direction that you are being given to have it taken. If you are not going about it, then it's becoming irresponsible or irrational. And then also, we're talking about the timing also. You also have to focus on the timing as well. So anything, and then taking drug not intended for its use. So if you are going in for, you are well, you are fine, but you feel like you want to take paracetamol, then you take paracetamol. That becomes
people do that.
Irresponsible. All people do that.
Wow, I've never heard, because even when I'm ill,
you don't want to take the
no, not at all. No. So I can't imagine taking it on a day where I feel good. I feel good. But I asked the question: is it irresponsible to take your medication with any other thing other than water? Is it irresponsible? Okay, is it wrong?
Yes, I would say that for some. Yes, I'm just trying to arrive at a point. For instance, when you go to the hospital, sometimes the pharmacist actually tells you that if you are to take, say, drug A, you have to take it with this a lot of water. There are actually some medications you are asked to take with a lot of water. There are some other medications you are asked to say avoid milk. Some others say for metronidazole, that is the brand name is Flagyl or Novagil. Sometimes you are asked Flagyl.
Okay, I've not heard that one before.
Metronidazole or Novagil.
Let's move on. I'm not a pharmacist. Let's move on.
So with those drugs, you're actually asked to avoid alcohol. And so I believe that if you go to the hospital and your health practitioner or say your pharmacist actually asks you to do this, to adhere to this let me say direction, you have to adhere to it. You are not supposed to take in your own personal pleasures to take the medication, because in the end there are drug to drug interaction and then food drug interaction. And so if you don't adhere to the direction given to you by your pharmacist, and to take this drug with water, if you take it with milk, perhaps the drug would not function, it wouldn't work, and you wouldn't achieve you wouldn't optimize your therapeutic outcome we actually want to see. And so you are actually supposed to take the drug as directed by your pharmacist. Avoid milk, avoid alcohol.
So those of us who put the medicine in between fufu and banku so that we can swallow it.
Some people are actually supposed to take capsules, and then they open the capsules and take the powder only.
Oh, that's wild. I've not heard that one before.
Oh, it actually happens. Capsules. They actually open it and they take it when they are supposed to take it whole with enough water. That is all part of the education we actually want to.
So I can replace the water with fruit juice. A lot of fruit juice.
Not necessarily,
not
but
so much recommended.
It's actually not recommended. If you are asked to take it with enough water, I'll subscribe that you take it with enough water.
But the medicine is bitter,
why don't you take the medicine and then maybe after some time,
you drink your water.
Drink your
wow. Wow.
To prevent any interactions so that you don't get yourself harmed. Okay,
so let me ask this question. What does this campaign seek to achieve? What is the aim of this campaign?
Okay. I would say that at the end of this drug safety and health awareness campaign, as a student federation, we actually want to see our elderly, our elderly in Cape Coast. We'll be going to Cape Coast, and so we actually, we'll be in the Cape Coast municipality. We would want to discuss, some of the diseases, say diabetes, hypertension, that worry them, and we would want to see how they can live lifestyles that would be able to, that would actually modify or help them, right? And we would also want to educate them on the rational use of their medications. And so you would realize that some people do take their medications, but then they do not take it with the appropriate dose or at the appropriate time. And so at the end of this campaign, we want to be able to see that these sets of people know how to take their medication. They know how to take it at the right time, and they know the type of say if they take this medication with this food or with that, it would be able to cause some interactions, right? And also at the end of this campaign, we would also want members in Cape Coast or the Cape Coast populace to understand the right way to go about food safety, and even together with personal hygiene, food safety, and we would actually want them to know the right way, the appropriate way to go about their food and to go about eating their food, and even the right way to preserve and cook their foods. Yes, and also lastly, yes, this campaign actually entails a lot, and I would say that we would also be going to we'll be going to some secondary schools. We'll be in Wesley Girls, and probably we'll be in St. Augustine's College. And so we would actually want to set up some antimicrobial resistance group. And so we would want the students to come together to be able, we would actually talk to them on antimicrobial resistance. And in the end, we would want to see that they have been able to create groups amongst themselves, and they would be able to pioneer, or they will be able to push the aim of, the fact that you would take a medication and then it wouldn't work due to the fact that you have been taking it consistently.
And so abused the drug.
Yes. And so at the end of this campaign, these and many more are what we also want. And then we also want to get some data for some research work and all that, ministries and
Okay. And when is this campain happening? You've already established that it's happening in Cape Coast. When is it happening?
So the scheduled date, the date is 24th to 28th
October.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll kickstart next week, Tuesday by this time.
Okay.
That is when
you're excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Okay, that's good. It's good. It's good to know that. Yeah.
We need to be excited because we are going to impact people's life, and then a healthy nation will be a
wealthy nation.
A wealthy nation will only be a wealthy nation when the people are healthy. So if we have that role to go out there to educate people to stay healthy, that we should be happy about it because we are impacting life. So from 24th to 28th, that is, we are going to spend the time with Cape Coast, the Cape Coast Indigents. So we are going to be on UTC campus. We are going to have an opening ceremony where we are working towards getting the major stakeholders to come on board for us to discuss the responsible use of medication. When it comes to our aspects as pharmacists, what is being expected of us to have done. In our role as students, what is being expected for us to have done. These also span to policy making. Just as you made mention of blocking borders so that people don't bring in medication.
Because if they don't bring it in, how are they able to abuse the drugs?
You see that. So we are going to discuss them, policy angles and all those angles. And then also on the 26th, we'll go out to have a mega health screening for the people of Cape Coast. So the health screening is going to target some key things. We'll be looking at
in just a minute, then wrapping up. Tell us which people are invited, and if somebody wants to sponsor you or somebody wants to come there, is there a number? Can they follow you on your socials? In just a minute.
Okay, so if someone wants to sponsor us, we are open to that for the person to sponsor us. So the person can reach out through the email of the federation, or can reach out to my contact as the president. I'll link the person to the executive, so we'll have a discussion. So the person can reach out. Should I have?
Yeah, you can mention your number.
Okay, so our email is psfgh.official@gmail.com, and then my